I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the LOJEL Cubo Small, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. The outside of this is pretty simple in terms or in comparison to other hard side luggage. So this is a 50% recycled polycarbonate. So it's the whole exterior is a polycarbonate material, which is something that we see a lot on hard side luggage. So nothing too different about that. You can see on the front here, there's no blemishes really or anything. There's like a few marks down here, but it's held up really well over my testing. Took this on like a weekend trip and just kind of out and about. So on the bottom here, we've got 4 wheels. They are 360 wheels, 2 individual wheels on each wheel casing, I guess you could say. And they have like a nice soft rubber bottom. They are really quiet and they actually work really well. So what's nice about these is that where I was going, I had to roll this over like a ton of gravel, and it worked really well over that as well. So no issues getting over like kind of rougher terrain. And then it rolls really nicely and quietly on like tile and things like that, so you won't make too much noise going through the airport, which is really nice. We also have on this side here a couple of different, these are like offset little bumps, so that when you are, oh, I did find a little marking there. There we go. It's kind of a little bit scratched up there, but I like the colorway options on this. Just in like a general sense, I think that it kind of has like it's not like futuristic, but it's kind of like a professional but like casual vibe to it. I just like the aesthetic of this, and design wise, it's a little bit unique for hard side luggage too, which is really cool. Back to these little bumps down here on the bottom. This is for when you set the luggage down on its side. It gives it like a little bit of support. It's not fully just like resting on the ground, and that gives you full access to this handle here. You can see the little LOJEL logo right here. So this is really simple and easy handle. There's no like additional padding. There's one on the side, one on the top, and these are pretty standard for hard side luggage we found. So this is very similar to something you would find with like Away or Manos or a lot of other brands. Honestly, they sit just flush to the bag until you need them, and then you pull them out. But you're not going to be carrying your bag too much by those handles, so it's not a big deal. This top handle as well, there's a couple of different indents on the bottom here, and I use that as like support, so I can kind of move it from side to side when I was moving it around the room, or if you're like taking it out of the overhead bin, you just need like a little bit of extra grip. You can definitely do that there. Also, LOJEL logo on the front here. This is kind of like it's like a plasticky material, but it looks kind of metal almost, and it's like debossed in there. It just looks very nice. And then a little bit of material down here on the bottom for some flexibility. Once we get into this pocket, you'll see kind of how it's all configured. But in general, very quality construction. We also have the TSA approved lock here, so that's nice and easy. You just set your code, those pop out. You can also self-lock them if you want to. I would use a TSA approved lock, obviously, but you kind of have 2 locking options here if you prefer one or the other. And these are nice and easy to grip. They're just like metal zipper pulls, and they're very, very comfortable to just kind of slide back and forth here, no issues with that. This is the expansion system, which we'll talk about in a second. But the last thing really on the outside here is the telescoping handle. It has 3 height adjustments that you can use, and I found that they were all pretty solid for me, but let's take a look at it once it's actually standing up. This is the handle at its top adjustment. So this is the first step, or last, I guess, depending on how you look at it. This is the middle height adjustment and then the lowest height adjustment. So I found at 5'6" that the middle was most comfortable for me if I'm just rolling it next to me. But if I wanted to, kick it back on 2 wheels, I'd probably put it to that top adjustment. But either way, it's very comfortable. The handle itself feels like relatively ergonomic. It's kind of like that angled shape that you see on a lot of luggage. Button on the top, very, very easy to use. On their site, they also have the very specific height of this trolley handle. So if you are really looking for something that's like a specific height, you can kind of measure it against yourself and get an idea before you purchase, which I think is really cool. We don't see that a ton. And then in addition to that, it rolls or it comes out very smoothly. I have this thing pretty packed out, and it gets a little bit hard to pull out like right at the beginning. Like when luggage kind of gets compressed in there, it can be hard to slide up the handle. It requires a little bit of effort at the beginning, but then once it gets a little bit higher up, moves nice and smooth. If you're finding this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. Looking at this bag here, I mentioned the expansion system here. This is just the single zipper. on the outside. So what's unique about this bag is, unlike a lot of hard side luggage, it doesn't open directly in the center. You actually get in through this front zipper here, which we'll look at in a second. But the expansion itself is very simple. This takes it from 37 liters and expands to 42 liters. So you just, like a regular piece of expandable luggage, you just unzip all around, and then it gives you a little bit of extra space there. So that was really nice. I was packing for the holidays and just had a couple events and wasn't really sure what I needed, and I was able to overpack this thing a little bit more, and I like the flexibility that it gave me. This is also a very comfortable zipper pull. It's kind of got like ridges on it, which is nice. It's a little bit like grippier, but very, very easy to kind of expand and compress as needed. I'm going to zip that back up so you can see what it looks like once it's all packed out when it's not expanded, because expanding this can impact carry-on compliance. So definitely keep an eye on that, because if you are flying with someone who's a stickler and you expand this thing out, you know, they could deny you. So you want to make sure that you're compliant with that. Anyway, going into this main area. So how you get into this bag is actually that's already done. You open up this zipper here, and this actually reveals a front pocket. So I'm going to flip this up this way so you can see it. And this actually was very confusing for me at the start, because I was like, how do I get into the main compartment? I'll show you in a second. But essentially what this front pocket is a spot for either accessories, but specifically tech. They say you can put like your laptop in here and cables and stuff. There's no specific laptop compartment, and I have a 13-inch here, and there's like not that much space. So depending on the size of your laptop, you might have some problems. But my 13-inch MacBook here does fit pretty snug. And I did put a case on it because otherwise it's just free floating in this main compartment, and there's no like padding or anything in here. So didn't love that. I feel like I would have liked something just like even here or back here to slip on. But what is nice about this pocket is they have some organization built in. So in here, I put the charger for the laptop, and inside this pocket, it's a little bit padded. So whatever you put in here isn't gonna like get bumped too much from the outside. So that's a nice little quality of life feature there. And then on the front side here, you can kind of see it there, we've got some mesh pockets. So on one side, I have a passport wallet, and then on the other side, I have a cable and a battery bank. So this is good for like quick grab items you might want while you're at the airport. And then another, I think my favorite feature of this bag as a whole is this quick access pocket. So this is magnetic here. There's a little pull, and you just tip that forward. And I want to see how, I wonder what like the best way to look at it is. Yeah, that looks good. So basically it pulls forward and it just like hinges, and that gave me really quick access to, like, just before shooting, I needed to grab this bag, and I was able to just like hinge this. Oh my God, you can't really see it. I was able to like hinge that up, grab this really quick out. You can kind of see it from the front. Grab that out and then stick it back in, no problem. So if you want to put your toiletries in here and they ask you to pull them out through security, because they don't do that all the time now. If they do ask you to do that, then this is really great for that. And I think it's just such like a unique way to get into this bag. This isn't really something we see. A lot of hard-sided luggage, like I mentioned, opens fully clamshell from the inside, or from the middle here. But what you do in order to actually get into the bag, there is, actually show you a little bit closer. If I flip this on its side, you can see that there's a zipper here. And so you unzip that, and then there is the same zipper on the other side. And that like essentially removes like the gusset that would keep this shut otherwise. And then you have access to this whole main compartment. So if you really like hard-sided luggage but really want a bucket style packing, this is going to be a great option for you, because like I mentioned, not something you usually find. So with this here, especially with the external pocket, I just think that's a nice quality feature add. With the stuff that I have in here, I was able to get about like 5 to 6 days of clothing. And that was like if I wore something different every single day. If you utilize a capsule wardrobe, you can easily get like a week or two of clothing in here if you pack smart. I, as you can see, have 2 separate toiletry bags. Like if I was traveling extended, I wouldn't have those 2. It was simply because I had events that I had to go to and I needed a little bit more makeup. So, you know, kind of depends on your packing. They also have the compression strap here. So this tightens, you just like pull this top bit and it cinches it down. A little leftover strap here, but that never really bothered me because by the time I was cinching it down, it was, you know, already tightened or full or whatever. And that's just a buckle that unclips. The one thing I didn't like about this was because it's attached on the back here, I couldn't like easily flip it up here or something like that. There was one time where I just like hooked it. You can see I like flipped down this front part and then hooked the buckle through there. And that was just kind of like me rigging it to work with, stay out of my way type of a thing. But in here I've got, you know, a couple of different packing cubes. Obviously it's not perfect. Packing cubes, hoodie, that type of a thing. And you can see the inside is fairly simple, very much a bucket shape that you're probably very familiar with on other suitcases and similar luggage like that. So nothing too exciting in here. There's 2 side pockets. I have a hat and a beanie in one and then a regular hat in the other. Those are good for like small accessories or things like that. And then this as well, this liner, there's a zipper along the entire edge. This liner is actually removable, so you can take it out and wash it if you want to. So if something spills in your bag and you want to give it like a refresh or something like that, that's definitely an option. So in here, like I said, a ton of space. And then if you use the expansion zipper, it does go up a little bit more. So that's very nice. So overall, I would say, like, I think what makes this thing very unique is the access point, considering it's hard-sided luggage. And I liked being able to just get into everything from the front and to have this quick little flap to be able to like quickly access something at the top of my bag, because sometimes with luggage it's a little bit hard to get in there and quickly grab what you need. So that's kind of in summary how this works, but definitely very easy to pack and pretty roomy considering its size. So there you have it, the LOJEL Cubo Small. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.